don't hold your nose quite yet, because this is something I think you'll want to learn about. Cristy Christie, love the name, lives in San Luis Obispo's North County area. That's where her SLO County Worm Farm is located. She's also the maker of Black Diamond VermiCompost. Cristy, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Randall. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, so I have to ask you, and I know you get asked this question all the time, how on earth did you get involved with worms?
Worms are an essential part of a healthy garden. And around here, we just really don't have very good soil. So instead of trying to fight our soil and find a way to get worms here, we've found a great way to produce their castings in bulk so that people can actually just use the benefit of their worm poop in their gardens and get really, really good, vital, healthy plants.
Cristy, castings is a nice way of saying poop, right?
That's it. That's it.
Worm castings.
Compost. Vermi is Latin for worm, Randall.
Oh, okay.
Compost is, of course, compost. So we combine it into VermiCompost. And the characteristics of worm castings or vermicompost is just very, very unique to soil.
And so you come there and you pick up, if I'm a gardener or a farmer, I come there and I pick up a big pile of this, or it's something that is more concentrated and I mix it into the soil I already have.
The key is less is more. So with vermicompost, really all you need is between 10 and 20% of the total volume of your planting medium. And a little goes a long way. So the benefits are the microbiology that are included and part of worm castings. Worm castings convert nutrients into forms that are usable by roots, so nutrients like nitrogen don't leach into the groundwater. Mm-hmm. And it also empowers plants' own natural immune system to go to work and ward off pest attacks and diseases. It improves flower production, vegetable production. Plants are strong. They taste better. The water holding capacity of castings helps us water less. But the bottom line is less is more.
Yeah. And so the worms all remain there at your operation. People aren't taking worms away from you. They're taking away their sewage.
That's right. Well, we do help people set up their little worm bins to take care of their own kitchen scraps. And a lot of folks are getting into that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because, 2 or 3 years ago, I bought this giant compost maker at Costco. It's this thing that you can spin it around, and I did use it one year and got some pretty good compost that I had the best tomato crop I've ever had that following summer. Last year we didn't really use it all that much, and I'm back into it again. But I feel like the compost needs a kickstart or something. Is that something the worms could help?
Probably not in a tumbler or a compost system like you're talking about. There's hot composting and there's cold composting. So the worms are the cold composters, and the system that you're talking about is more designed to get hot and break down and decompose organic matter through a thermophilic action.
Okay, so I don't want to put the worms in there because I just end up killing them, right?
Probably so.
Yeah. And as you know, worms are gold, so we don't want to be killing them. Where do you get your worms? Do you just do you breed them there? Do worms breed? I don't even know how any of that works.
They do breed, and they're pretty good at it.
Uh-huh.
We started our worm farm with probably just a couple 100 pounds of worms, and that's actually a lot. A pound of worms is about 1,000.
Oh, okay.
And now we have probably 1 million or more worms, and they live in beds that are actually off the ground. So I don't have to deal with any kind of rodent issues or birds or anything. They're under a roof. Mm-hmm. Their temperature is monitored. They get misted down. And what our worms eat is hot composted cattle manure that we compost for 2 weeks prior to feeding to them, which builds up a a great amount of nutrition for them, and it also kills pathogens and weed seeds.
I see. So you pre-compost the way that I do it with the hot compost, and then you add that to the soil that these worms are living in. And then how do you separate out their, what was the first term you used for it? Their castings. How do you separate out the worm castings?
Well, the castings in this system, it's more of what we call a continuous flow-through bed. So it's off the ground, and the floor of the unit is kind of an open grate system. So our worms are composting worms, which means they're surface dwellers, and they live at the top.
Okay.
And the bed is 2 feet deep, so we trim off vermicompost off the bottom. So what we feed today will actually harvest in about 3 months down at the bottom of the bed. So
okay.
we feed the top, and we trim off at the bottom.
Are they? How long does a worm live? The kind that you're using?
About 4 years.
Okay. How many different kinds of worms are there? I know you have like fishing worms. Are these like the type of worms people would use to go fishing?
We actually just have one worm. It's Icenia fetida. That's the technical term. And there's over 4,000 kinds of worms out there.
Oh, okay. And so you just used the one, and why did you zero in on that one? Does it tend to excrete the most?
They're most efficient at consuming organic matter, which is what we feed them, and they don't do well at all in soil. So our worms, you wouldn't want to buy our worms and put them in your garden because they don't make it. They naturally thrive in an old horse manure pile or an old pile of dead leaves or something that is primarily organic.
I see. This is really Worms 101 for me. I just know nothing about worms except for how they look, and I'm wondering how they eat. I never thought about a worm having a mouth or teeth or anything like that. So how is it they're eating this manure?
They actually just are really working on the microbiology inside the system. Mm-hmm. So whatever is being decomposed is breaking down into a form that is minute and microscopic and invisible to us, but exactly what they want.
Yeah. And so that's called VermiCompost, what you're making there. On your website, I see something called tea, and I'm guessing this isn't what I have in my cup in front of me right now.
I would hope that you wouldn't drink vermicompost tea.
So what is the tea that you're selling?
It's an aerated solution. So we put vermicompost into some kind of container. You can make this at home. And ours is a commercial brewer. Mm-hmm. It aerates the solution for 24 hours, and it pulls out the microbiology in the vermicompost into the water.
Okay.
And in the water and oxygen, the microorganism population just explodes exponentially. So you have millions and millions of microbes, and when you water your soil with that, all of those good critters go to work in the soil. And in some cases, there's a lot more bad guys in the soil than there are good guys. So we put the diversity to work, and we kill off the bad guys.
Yeah. I love it, and there's a lot more for people to learn if they head to your website, SLOCountyWorms.com. Cristy Christie, the founder of it, thank you so much for joining us on the line. You're in Paso or Atascadero or
Paso Robles.
Paso Robles. Well, thank you so much for what you're doing. I love it. One last thing. Organic growers can use this?
Yes.
Perfect. Even better. Cristy Christie, SLOCountyWorms.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stick around, everyone. We're back in just a